Okay, so I would say that, well, my application journey was quite intense and exciting. So for our cohort, we had to talk about our career trajectory, the why we want to apply for Cambridge for the course, for the master's, for the MasterCard application, MasterCard Foundation Scholarship as well. And I think all of these questions put me in a period of very deep self like reflection, knowing what has motivated me so far, my undergrad, everything I did during my undergrad studies, post-undergrad, my career, why this particular course I'm applying for is the next step, how that connects to, like Anna said earlier, sustainability, climate change, sustainable futures for Africa, and how being a part of the MasterCard Foundation cohort will be a very big game changer in the kind of career that I want to do post the master's degree. So I think that one of the things that helped me was reaching out to MasterCard scholars at the time, who I think I met about two of them via like team. And they sort of gave me some very deep, sort of one-off experiences about what they have experienced so far in the course, what they feel is something stronger that I should shed some light on. And of course, understanding my why and my own personal motivations and my passions. And I think that that's one of the tips I would like to share with you, that you could reach out to scholars currently to know their experiences and what helped them while they were applying to Cambridge, because that also helped me in my own application journey as well. And also, I think one of the things that I did was to be very specific about why this particular program I'm applying for and what I have done in my past that makes it sensible for me to apply for this particular program, and what I want to do in my career-wise post the master's degree. MasterCard is very, very keen on sustainability, climate change, as Tracy and of course Anna have mentioned. So I would advise that everything that you are or aiming to do career-wise and what you want to do with your degree should be focused on like that particular area. So you must be deeply interested in climate change. You must show evidence that you have before in your essays, and even in your course applications as well, and even in your own career ambition. So I think these are very critical areas that you should touch on. And of course, show very deep commitment about giving back. And I mentioned the ripple effect. MasterCard wants to know that they're not only investing in you, but they're going to invest in other future generations through you. So you must also give light, or should I say, shed some more light on that area as well, that you as an African coming to study at Cambridge, you are going back to transform your continent, your space in your career, in whatever way you want to do it, right? Sell that story, sell that experience, and just, be personal. Don't be afraid to make it, deeply personal, or like share more information about your experiences, because you never know. MasterCard is really interested in your own story. Cambridge is interested in your own story. They want to know all the great things you've done. So I think you should follow that path and, have a deep reflection about your experiences, your passions, your ambitions, and put that all into a Word document. And let's see where the magic leads. So that'll be all from me for this question.
Yeah, thank you, Favour. So similar to, Favour's application, for me, I applied to the Department of Chemical Engineering. So like Anna had said, you're first interfacing with the requirements from the department you're applying to. So for me, my department had a requirement of first class. So, that's something you already have to have had for you to continue in the application process and proceed with it. So I checked the department's requirements. Okay, I was sure that I had what they needed first, and then I went ahead to start the application, put in my details. I had an essay required by the department, which was called tag my reason for applying. So I think we can say that's like a statement of purpose. And yeah, for me, they just wanted to also see why I went there to study this course. And like Favour said, it also took me down like a journey of self-reflection. And I think that's really what what your application should be about, right? It should be about you taking time to internally reflect, taking time to write about your authentic self, your authentic story, the things you have done, the things that have inspired you, and then, just putting that all out in writing and also learning to stick to word limits. Very important, staying with word limits. So I think my department essay was about 5,000 characters thereabouts. So you just not words, characters. So you just put that down, and they want to see your true self. Then I submitted like a CV, my references, and sure you also get references from very good and credible people that can testify to the things you have done so far in your life, academic referees, maybe work references. Well, just two references I submitted for Cambridge to my department. And then, oh yeah, there was no application fee thanks to MasterCard. And then I forgot to mention this, when the application you get to select your college. And for me, I selected Pembroke College because of the proximity to like my department. I'm Department of Engineering, and Pembroke is actually really close to. I'm Department of Chemical Engineering, sorry, but I have some courses I take within engineering department as well. So I chose Pembroke College for like proximity, like for moving around, and I also loved the location. It was like it's within the city center, so I wanted to just be there. So you can actually do that. Maybe select a college based on its proximity, based on maybe stories you've heard, things you've read online, and things like that. And for the MasterCard essay, we were required to write 2,000, no, just 2 pages. I think it was just 2 pages, which is like about 1,000 words. Yeah, 1,000 words, 2 pages. It was also same thing, a journey of reflection, and I usually advise people to use a past, present, future approach. You can use any other approach you like, but I just usually like to tell people you can do that, where you talk about maybe what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and then what you're going to do in the future, and how all of that ties to the vision of MasterCard, which is sustainable futures in Africa and climate resilience in Africa. So you can use that, and that would all put out your essay beautifully, and also learn to stick, to word limits and page limits as you are given. Yeah. That's about my application experience.
Yeah, okay. So now we'd move on to how transition, yeah, this is quite interesting. Firstly, it was a mix of feelings for me, honestly. It was a lot of emotions. First of all, I was nervous. I'm coming to a new country, a new environment, postgraduate journey, starting new life in a country like the UK and at a very top university like Cambridge. Transition was, well, I needed time to, of course, adjust to the weather, which is which is quite crazy.
It was cold.
I know. Some days it's really, really cold. You can't feel your fingers. I had to adjust to what kind of clothes I'm supposed to wear during this time. And of course, the food, the culture here, the people. And I think one of the great things about my particular journey was the orientation program. I think there was even a document where the former class or the former cohort sent. I don't know if you remember, Favour. They sent a little document about where to like barber your hair, like the favorite barber shops, African shops to get food, where to like style your hair, where to get clothes, cheapest places, the inside life of Cambridge and how to navigate when you're new here. I think that document really helped from the past cohort, as well as the orientation program as well, where they tell you what you are in for. Some people from particularly my course, the population health science, I think the course director and then the head of department was at the orientation program, and they told us what you were in for in the course and how we can prepare, to do well going forward, some key learning strategies and guidance that we should follow, it's like a roadmap, and so that I think that helped me ease into the Cambridge environment more quickly and more easier. So that made me more relaxed about first or second week in Cambridge. And I think what also helped me was forming my own communities. I first of all formed friends, my social circles from my very first point of contact here, which was the MasterCard Foundation cohort, the scholars, my Ghanaian community scholars as well, and then from other African countries. Then I took well, I think I joined a particularly study group from my course, from my department. It wasn't just about students in the MPhil in population health sciences. And I'll just add this. Anna was saying that if you wanted to study public health, it might not necessarily be public health. There's a degree also in, of course, my course, population health, there's genomic sciences, and you can apply for any of them. It's the same regime, actually. And I chose course mates from the PhD in primary care, the PhD in epidemiology, the PhD in biostats, people that were ahead of me that would help me with my academic studies, right? And of course, I made friends from my church and friends from sports. So I came here, I started learning rowing. I stopped because it was really intense and I was doing a lot of 9 to 5s with my course and time was a bit stringent on my part. Another thing I had was my church. So students from my church and other people, youth from my church also helped me. So I think forming my communities early on also helped. It might not be the same for everybody, but with time and with finding the right people, whether it's in your course, in your church, in your particular scholarship community, or in your sports community as well, will help you navigate all of the dark and happy times at Cambridge, especially when it gets really cold and everybody's indoors and staying away because it's winter. I think having friends that you can hang out with, whether indoors or elsewhere, will be helpful. Another thing that I loved was my college, which was Wolfson College, really helped me with pastoral care. There was a time when I had some thought block and I couldn't work on my thesis. That was like somewhere last term. And then they had this right here, right now retreat, which is basically right here, right now. And it helped me because there were PhD students that were there to help you write, to give you some guidances. There are people that would proofread your essays, whether it is your thesis at the end of the year or even assignments or just case studies I was working on. And that really helped. So there are different support groups in Cambridge that can help you. And these actually helped me as well. Not to talk of my course supervisor at the department, my thesis supervisor for my research, and also my college tutor. So these are the 3 key people that you'd be assigned to in Cambridge. And I think all students have these people. These are your primary point of call for anything monetary, mental health, emotional support, whatever you need, these are the people that you go to and they would just point you in the right direction or show you the support system that are available to you that you can access. And for me, knowing that the support is available to me and knowing I can access them also helped me. And of course, sort of helped me in my academic journey and the way to go about, life in Cambridge, navigating where to get my food, who to go to for what kind of help that I needed, who to hang out with, and not just focusing on the course or sort of what you're studying, but also forming connections outside of your program, whether it's sports, whether it's your college, whether it's, in the MasterCard Foundation program or the scholarship body. All of these key communities play a role in making your Cambridge life a success, and it will help you transition and adjust better in a new environment like this. Over to you, Favour.
So beautiful, Favour. We don't have like different experiences. I feel like we're living almost the same lives. So for me, for me as well, I loved that we resumed 2 weeks earlier than academic work started in Cambridge, thanks to the MasterCard scholarship. So we used that 2 weeks for induction, and it was very helpful because it just helped us ease into Cambridge City. It helped us, navigate to know the way, to know how to move around. Because believe me, the first week I was always almost getting lost whenever I stepped out. So it was really good because I started to get familiar with the environment, the weather. It was actually really cold when we arrived, and it was a bit difficult that first week. But after that 2 weeks, I felt like, oh, I knew how to handle this and I knew what to do. Also the time where we had during the induction, where we had past scholars who were still in Cambridge talk to us during the induction and even take us around. Like they basically took us around in different groups to show us, oh, this is a shop where you can get stuff of affordable clothing. This is where you can shop for food at affordable rates. Like they walked us around Cambridge and showed us, places to get stuff very easily. I thought that was really, really, really thoughtful and beautiful of the organizers. It was so good. The talk with past scholars was very important, especially about integrating into a different culture like this, because we had different sections, and some of the sessions they told us on how to, interact with people here, how to, because we're sort of in an entirely new environment, and sometimes we can go through so many emotions being in a new environment. So that induction week really helped us ease into Cambridge community. Also, the monthly socials that MasterCard organized. I thought that was also really, really, really nice because I know I missed a few because sometimes I'll be in class, I'll come back from class late, and I won't be able to attend. But the ones I attended was really good because I would just go there, have pizza, or it might be KFC or just something really good. And you
True.
get to chat and see the scholars once again outside of the classroom. Because at that time we had been going to, having like lots of classes, assessments, coursework. So having that monthly social once a month, it was so good because you just get to laugh, chill, eat, and just play and not be in the classroom space. I think that was so good. Like Favour, I really, really, really built my community as well. I'm a member of the Nigerian Society in Cambridge here, active member, one of the executives as well. So I am fully like involved in all the activities in the Nigerian Society, and I think that has been one of my favorite experiences in Cambridge outside of the Mastercard Foundation scholarship. Like it has been awesome being with fellow Nigerians. We organize programs on a regular basis. Every term we have our list of activities, programs. Sometimes we invite like Nigerian leaders. We just recently had like a democracy day event. If you're Nigerian, you know that Nigeria's democracy is June. So this June we had a democracy event where we invited like past governors and people like that to talk to us, and it's been so beautiful. So it'd be very good to identify societies like this where you're from, like that makes you feel sort of like at home. So with Nigerian society, for me, I get to feel at home, like I'm home with friends and family. That's how it feels. Also, the African Society. So there's also the Brother African Society where we have very lovely programs curated. And even this this Sunday, we're going to be having an African summer social. So it's going to be and I know that's going to be really awesome with lots of food. Come and sit with Africans the on one of the Jesus Green. Yeah, I think that's where it's happening. So we're just going to like so many activities here actually outside of academic work, which like Favour had already said, is very important. Aside from your primary focus, which is the MPhil you've come to do, it's very good to ensure that you're balancing your mental health, you're balancing your social life, you're making sure that everything about you is working fine by having the best of communities around you. Your friends, very important. Get great friends. Sometimes I'm too busy with schoolwork, and the next thing my friend is saying, I have prepared food, come and eat. So you see, it's very, very lovely to have good community, good friends. There's so many activities you can do when you're
Yeah.
here in Cambridge. So many things like MasterCard prepared so many programs for us. The Cambridge Institute of Sustainability Leadership. We had a leadership program that was organized for us. We had 3 sessions, very, very wonderful. There's the King's Entrepreneurship Lab that you can, where you learn about how to build your idea as a social entrepreneur and also pitch your idea. So beautiful. The support we get and support you get also from the school, your tutors, they're really, really, really thoughtful. They are really kind. They want to know how you're doing. Everybody just wants you to be well, be fine, and succeed. If you have issues as well, like maybe you're going through something personal, something happened to you, maybe you're finding it really difficult, you also have access to like the student services counseling where you can go and see a counselor. You can even request for the kind of person you want to talk to. Maybe you want to talk to a Black person as an African, want to talk to an African you can request for that and just talk, share your problems, and Like they say, sometimes problem shared is half solved. So
Mhm.
yeah, those are very interesting things you can do while in Cambridge. And they helped me transition like well into the city, into the school, and I've had great experiences so far. Next question, Favor.
Yeah, wow, that was really comprehensive, Favour. Good
Mhm.
work. Well, we cannot stress this enough. Everybody needs to be, what's the word? Conscious about making connections, building friendships, because Cambridge student life, it will stretch you out. You need to be conscious to step out of being an introverted person to once in a while being extroverted, go for events, get free food, get access to where the charitable shops are to get cheaper clothes. As Africans, we want to save a lot of money, right? And these are the ins and outs. When you invest in your African scholars, your communities, that's how you're going to have a very good student experience here in Cambridge. Now, academically, I would say that my course was transformative. I'm now thinking about a lot of things like global health issues, how we can, change global health financing for Africa in light of, the changes in the international development fund space. I've been able to think critically about how we can build, African-led solutions to, the weak health systems that we have on the continent, and what my place is in transforming a climate resilient future for Africa, right? Socially, I would say that I found my second home here in Cambridge, of course, being very active in my church, being a part of the choir, going for choir rehearsals, as well as also being active in my college. I think I can't stress this enough. Picking the right college is essential for your Cambridge experience. I've been able to attend two different conferences. One was held in the US, and it was partly funded by my college, Wolfson, because they would cover feeding, they would cover accommodation, they would cover conference fees. If for somebody who would want to gain some external international exposure, giving presenting a paper at conferences, speaking to other professionals in a different country, or even in a different city outside of Cambridge, your college system is there to support you and to make that also possible and successful for you. So you need to think deeply about the kind of college you're applying to, what support is available for you there, and the quality of pastoral care you are going to get in that college. So outside of that as well, like Favour mentioned, building your community as well, and finding the right balance between work and academics and life and, friendships, and going for extracurricular activities and sports events are all very important, of course, for your mental health as a Cambridge student. If there's anything I've learned so far from my year since September, is growth comes from embracing discomfort. And like I said earlier, Cambridge is very intense, it's very student focused. You need to be conscious about what support you need and who to go to get that support, right? But all of this experience will also shape you in ways you never imagined. You will come out of this 1 year program, or even if it's a PhD you're applying for, you come out of this postgraduate journey a renewed person, both mentally and intellectually, about what you stand for, what your place is in the myriad of challenges that is affecting the world now, and what you can give back to solving, one of these challenges, right? So I think that you must be very, very conscious about the decisions we make from the application point that would also transform your experience as a student in Cambridge and even your career going forward. So yeah, that's all I have to say. If Favour, you have something to add, that would be great. Then we can end it there.
Like I had said a lot earlier, like I combined my transition life with, all of my experiences. So all of that, my transition into Cambridge and all the things I have done, the communities I belong to, they've all shaped my experiences. They've all shaped the person I am now. I mean, Cambridge has made me see that I am actually stronger because for everything that we know that was thrown at me academically, all of that I had to juggle at the same time. I'm actually stronger than I had thought. So I'm excited to see that I have grown through this experience so far. I'll be running on my degree soon in August, and I'm really happy about that. I'm happy about the research I've been doing. Happy about the friendships I've made even in my classroom. Because in my course, I think I'm the only Black person, I know. So it was really nice just learning how to also like navigate, just feeling slightly alone in the beginning, but now having like friends in the department that are like close friends. So it was just really lovely seeing how I learned through all of these new experiences. And it's a learning curve. That's what I'm going to just say in conclusion. My student experience has been a learning curve, and I'm excited that I embraced all of the learnings and I am better for it. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Favour. Over to you, Anna.